Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Alright, since the last video, oddly enough, was about stopping stupid, and it was interrupted by somebody being stupid. Somebody hit a telephone pole and knocked out power for just a few moments. So, also noticed that yesterday's video was a little bit on the stale side because, well, it was just a blank screen with an image on it, and there was nothing going on the screen, which may be boring to watch. As if I'm not boring enough as it is to make a boring screen, which most people won't be able to, hey, how's it going, bud? Most people won't be able to follow. And if you're wondering about the game that I'm playing, this is something that I am currently building. So most of my audience is going to be around for my videos for setting up Unreal Engine 4 and game stuff and things of that nature. And that's cool, and I appreciate all that, and that's what I do as a hobby. I don't have any income at this moment. But yeah, this is a game that's currently under development. See, the billboards is what's new for right now. The billboard change is displaying just video only, no audio from them. They will be part of an advertising system that I'm also developing. So they would actually be playing advertising for different companies and so forth. So that if you wanted your company to have advertising inside my game or in other people's games that are using my ad system, yeah, it would just be a way of repaying me for helping you for learning the Unreal Engine 4 stuff. So, to the video. This is part of another series of things that I'm doing that I felt like I really wanted to do, and is to have a positive message, and they're going to have some negative sounding themes. They're going to sound horrible, but you know what? Life is too short to get wrapped up over trivial little minor stuff. And I figure since a lot of it's going to be based on what is right and wrong, but not in a sense that you would normally associate, primal. And the primal, as I call it, primality. Primality is just a term that I've put on for what is primal, what is by nature what a human is supposed to be doing, what our species is supposed to be doing. And as a species, what we're supposed to be doing is, well, you know, male and female of the species has their own role in what they would normally be doing. The male of the species, and we're talking about the human species, is very much similar to what would be for other mammals. They're hunter-gatherers. They're going to go out and they're going to obtain the food. They're going to defend the tribe. They're going to bring back the food, so to speak. They're going to provide a place for their tribe, shelter, and their other basic function primally is going to be to totally just had a brain aneurysm right there. It's to recreate or repopulate their tribe, to have sex with the female and create more and continue the species. Is essentially that's what the male's primal source is. There's others, but that's the main three primals: is food, shelter, and being able to reproduce. The female portion of that is to, well, reproduce as well, but they're to essentially by primal nature to raise the offspring and prepare the food, prepare the homestead, or take care of the homestead. There's just the basic primals, and the main ones I'll be covering is things like, I had a video the other day that was about homosexuality is wrong. Well, in the eyes of primal nature, yes it is. Because what's supposed to happen is the male and the female are supposed to be the ones that are having sexual contact so that they can reproduce and broaden the tribe, or add to the tribe. Oh shit. I haven't fixed that one yet. There's a collision issue on the building. But it's wrong in the eyes of it being a primal thing. And I'm going to refer you back to that video, but if you're a male of the species and you choose to shun the female portion of the species and do not wish to reproduce, to try to mate with the opposite gender so that you can reproduce, then that makes you defective in the eyes of the primal nature of the species. Then it comes into morality. Oh, it's immoral to be homosexual. Well, what's moral? What's immoral? Because it appears to change quite often. Because right now, if you're homosexual, it's a lot more tolerated in today's time. People will be more accepting if you're homosexual. Okay. Well, what about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 100 years ago? There's still some cultures that, if, 50, 100, 200, 300 years ago, 1,000 years ago, if you came out and said, I am homosexual, and, I want to be a male, and I want to lay with another male. Some cultures, they would kill you. They would actually put you down. You look at some cultures, like the Greek culture, whenever the soldiers are out and away from home, the officers and sergeants, so to speak, would often perform homosexual acts on their troops to relieve stress. And they did not discourage it between the soldiers. It was a way to keep them, pacified until they could get home to their spouses. So, yeah, it just seems that the moral opinion of something like homosexual activity changes, and has changed multiple times throughout history. So, is it a problem? No. Okay? Honestly, if you're a guy and you decide that you just want to be with another guy, go right ahead. And that's where it boils down to, what do I think is moral? What do you think is moral? What does everybody else think is moral? And why does it really matter? Because as long as two people are going to engage in an act, no matter what that act is, whether it's sexual or whatever, as long as it is consensual, then what's the problem? The morality level of this country, you're going to have it split so much. And there's racism, and there's, homophobia, and then there's, people who just don't really care about anybody else but themselves, being self-centered. And that is the majority of the population of people are so self-centered and so wrapped up in themselves that they don't care enough about somebody else. And whenever they do, they don't care whether it's offensive to somebody else. So when you're looking at what's moral, what's primal, and what's right and wrong, it just seems to change so frequently that how the hell are we supposed to keep up? I mean, honestly. And why should we bother to keep up? Because, I mean, seriously, if it's just going to keep changing over and over and over, whatever. I will take a stand on one part of this, and, you know, as I've mentioned before, I'm not homosexual. So, that's one thing. I don't have any problem with somebody else's life choices as long as they don't interfere with mine. You know? So, I'm not going to get hung up over it. And I don't think anybody should. But here's the thing, is when you're talking about what makes somebody a man or a woman, and gender changing, gender reassignment, whatever the hell you want to call it. If you are born with the genitals that are of a male, that are, whether they function or not is a different story, but if you were born with testicles and a penis, and you have the equipment to be able to produce sperm, whether it works or not, totally different story, but if you have that equipment from birth, you are a male. If you are born with a vagina, or, well, you definitely need to have one of those, but for sure, ovaries, the ability to have eggs, or to have produced eggs, so that you can reproduce that way. That makes you a female. Going to a doctor and getting your dick lopped off does not make you a woman. Is it wrong that you want to go and get your dick chopped off and your nuts chopped off and a hole jabbed in your guts so you can have a fake vagina? No. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't make you a woman. It just makes you a man with no dick. I mean, again, I don't care if somebody does that. If you were born a male and you had all that male tackle with you, and you decide that you feel that you should have been born a woman, you go through the trouble to do all the hormones and have the surgery, get your pecker chopped off, get your balls chopped off, and a hole made. If you go through all that trouble, well, it doesn't interfere with me in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't hurt me, so it's not my problem. So why should I get hung up, or why should anybody get hung up or bothered because you decided you wanted to change your body parts? You wanted to become, in your eyes, a female. Okay. Does that make you a woman? No, it does not, because you do not have ovaries. You do not have the appropriate tackle to be able to be classified as a woman. Women are a beautiful creature. They really are. They have the ability to spawn life. I mean, seriously. Yeah, guys, our job, wiggle around a little bit and donate some sperm. And that's our task. We get in, we get out, we're done. Our job is done. Women go through that change to where they grow another human inside of them. And giving birth is an amazing friggin' thing. So, they deserve to get some respect for that alone. So by cutting your junk off and getting a set of boobs installed, taking hormones and whatnot, going through that surgery does not make you a woman. Sorry, it just does not. Same goes for if you were a woman and you thought you should have been born a man, and you get your breasts removed, or and I know somebody that decided that they wanted to become a man, and they had gender reassignment surgery so that they could be more physically like a man. I don't know how that's going to work, because I'm pretty sure they can't get an erection normally, and after, whatever. I don't know. I'm not I'm not going to look into it because I don't really care. But will I stop being friends with somebody because she decided she wanted to become a he? No, I'm not going to stop becoming friends with somebody because of that, because of their choice. If that's what they want to do with their body, go right ahead. And if you're friends with somebody, then if you're really a friend, you're not going to judge them for that. And if you do, you're not a friend. You're just another shithead. An intolerant piece of shit. Intolerance is so widely spread in this world. So, and I'm saying this for my sake. This is what I believe, and I think that it should be a thing. Now, if you get gender reassignment surgery, your birth certificate says you were born male. I don't think that should change at all. Well, that should not change, because that's what you were born as. That was your birth certificate. You were born as a male. So your birth certificate should stay the same and not change. Your driver's license, however, should still say that you are male, but if you've gone through all the trouble to make yourself look like a female, then, you know, you've gone through a lot of hard work and effort to get to that point. So I think at least if you're going to do that, then there should be an annotation on the driver's license to notate that there's been gender reassignment surgery, but you will still be listed as a man. Because that comes into an issue of what happens if you go to jail. How do you get housed? Most prisons, they don't know how to deal with that. Well, they're actually a man, but they've had gender reassignment surgery, so they're more like a woman. Well, what cell block do we put them in? Do we put them in with the men, or we put them in with the women? You put them in with the men, they're going to get raped. Well, not necessarily just because they're female. The males get raped too, but I'm just saying, you're more apt to get raped if you put a female that has had gender reassignment surgery to male. Maybe not so much, but still possible. But if you're male and you've converted yourself to female, if you get put into a male cell block, then you're definitely going to get hit on. But is it right that you get put in with the females because they are actually females and you're just a pretend female? I'm sorry, that's what it is. You're not a real female, you're a pretend female. I'm sorry, you can look at it however you want to, but if you don't have the ovaries, then you're not a female. If you don't have testicles, you're not a male. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Again, no disrespect towards anybody who's gone through that effort. If that's what you need to do to make yourself happy, and you can do it, do it. More power to you. As long as it makes you happy, do it. And as long as it doesn't interfere, and it should not interfere with anybody else. And I'll keep saying this. If somebody has a problem with you, then that's already been answered in the first part. They have a problem. It's their problem, not yours. That's why the whole theme of you be you. You be the person you want to be, instead of, or be the person that you are, and not try to be something else. And okay, yes, if you decided you want to be a woman even though you were born a man, that's you. That's who you are. Okay? Be that. Don't hide that. Own that shit. If somebody has a problem with it, then they have the problem, not you. Now, let me get back to the morality portion of this. What is moral? Well, it's morally wrong if you get your sex change up. Well, again, who's to say what's moral? Because obviously it keeps changing, and with the way things change all the friggin' time, how the hell can you keep up with what's moral and what's not moral? Looking again at a primal session of this, when a child is born, they are a child, and once they reach puberty, they are now an adult. Any other species on the planet, whenever they go through their their cycle, and they are now have reached maturity, and I say this in a physical sense. Physical and mental, two totally different things. In a physical sense, whenever a rabbit reaches maturity, they're now able to reproduce. Same thing with any species on the planet. Whenever they reach maturity, whether they're a fish or a dog or a cat or a man or a woman or human or whatever, whenever they reach the age of puberty and their reproductive organs are now functional, they are an adult. Whether or not they're mentally mature is a totally different story. But they are, then you can't argue any other way on that. They are an adult to that point. They are capable of reproducing. Now, am I saying that a 10-year-old has just hit puberty, just because they can reproduce doesn't mean they should, okay? That's a whole different thing. But who am I to say that they can't? Who am I to say that they can? Physically, they can. What moral portion of that should be looked at is, realistically, do we want a 10-year-old out there reproducing? No, not really. Because A, they're not going to be mature enough, well, not always, but for the most part, they're not going to be mature enough to be able to effectively raise a child when they're practically still a child. If you look at creatures in the wild, that's going to be a problem too. The first spawn or the first brood, the first child of any species, the mother is not always going to be prepared to take care of that offspring. That's often the case, doesn't matter how old you are, because you've got people out there reproducing at age 30 that still aren't mature enough to friggin' have a child. But do I think 10, 11, 12-year-olds should be actively reproducing? No, I don't think so. Primarily, yes. Morally, for myself, no. But what's happened is, throughout the world, and specifically here in the United States, there is so many laws that are in place, quote unquote, to protect people from themselves. What the hell happened to natural selection? George Carlin made a statement in one of his shows that the kid that eats the most marbles doesn't usually grow up to have his own kids. Stupid sometimes will sort itself out. Not always, and that's because we've got so many frickin' laws in place to protect the stupid from themselves. So, let's say stupid hurts. Well, not as much as it should. With so many laws in place to protect people from themselves, it's done nothing but allow people to continue to blame the wrong things. Some kid gets bullied in school, and he decides he can no longer take it, and he decides he's going to steal daddy's gun and go shoot up the school. Whose fault is that? Is it the kid's fault because he shot up the school? Is it? I see that as being the parent's fault. If your child goes out and does that, steals a gun, because a child legally can't own a firearm, can't have solo possession of a firearm, so they shouldn't have been able to have possession of that firearm to begin with. So I blame the parents. Okay? If you allow your child to go out there, and yes, you have allowed them to do that, if you don't take an active role in your child's life, and if you're not a parent and you're listening to this, remember it. It'll come back for you. Um, you're responsible for your children. So if your children are playing a video game online and they're in there dropping the F-bomb and, man, fuck you, your mom, and, just being a total douche nugget inside of a video game, do you monitor your children's activity online? Do you know how they're acting when they're online? On social media, texting? Do you know how they're acting inside video games? For the parents who don't just dish out $60 every time a new game comes out, here, Junior, here's $60 for that game. Now shut up and go play, so I don't have to deal with you. Parents that just throw money at their kids and let them do whatever the hell they want to do are worse than ever. But here's the thing: is there's a lot of free-to-play video games that are out there, so they'll get into these free-to-play video games. Mommy and Daddy's not watching. Hell, half the time Daddy's not around any damn way. There's so many freaking single mothers out there that that's kind of sad too. But they're not watching their children. They are not monitoring what they're doing. I think that if you're a parent, you need to be checking in on your child and not just, watching him like a hawk, but engage them in conversation, activities, whatever else. Take part in what they're trying to do online, and don't try to be that cool mom or that cool dad. It ain't gonna work. You end up trying too hard, and it looks like you're trying too hard. So just don't. If you can't come up with the right way of bonding with your children, then keep trying. But whatever. So I think more video games should actually have a chat log. And I think that every 24 hours, that chat log should be emailed to a legal parent or guardian. There should be a method of checking and confirming and forcing confirmation of whether or not the account holder that's playing that game is actually a child or not. There's so many ways you can get around that, I know, but I think if Junior wants to play World of Tanks and it's a free-to-play game, even though it's free-to-play, I still think there should be a confirmation. Hell, I'm totally not even opposed to, I'm not saying scan your driver's license, but actually putting some legal documentation proving that who you are and what your age is. Because there's a lot of people who cause problems, cyberbullies and cyber terrorists, and people who create problems online, trolls on YouTube, trolls on forums and news groups and Discord and social media. Being trolls is just as much a problem as anything else too. So it's just one of those things where we need to to start locking down the internet a little bit more secure, to where you know who I am. I'm not saying that you need to know where I live and my who everything about me, but I'm saying that if you're going to play in a video game or set up a video game account or Xbox Live or PlayStation whatever the hell, or a wargaming.net account or Uplay account, Steam account, whatever, to set up these accounts, I think there needs to be an age verification in place, because we need to we need to all know that this person is a child. They need to be listed as a child. They need to be known that this is a child's account, and therefore a legal parent or guardian then must okay them to be able to play that game. But then also a chat log every 24 hours gets emailed to that legal parent or guardian, so that they can see what their precious little Junior is in there saying. Junior, like, oh, thanks, Mommy, I'm going to go to my room. Yeah, they get in a room and they start playing on this video game, and they're being trolls. They're being assholes. They're spamming. They're cussing people out. They're acting like complete garbage. And, mommy's little angel, oh, well, he's a good kid. He doesn't go out and cause problems. And, well, he's just in a video game, so how much trouble can he get into? Well, yeah, what if, mommy's little angel is harassing somebody, stalking somebody, threatening somebody? What if that person that they're threatening just can't take it anymore and they commit suicide? Or they snap and they go to school and shoot up 30 people in their school before blowing their own brains out. Oh, Johnny never did anything like that before. Well, why? Why did it happen? Something caused it to happen. Yeah. Kind of getting off topic there about the what we should be discussing about the morality issues of things, but still, I guess that's part of morality, is knowing what's right and wrong and why it's right or wrong. And I think that with the government telling us how to do things, and I understand why some things are in effect. Okay, there's a speed limit. Going through this road here, you can only do 30 miles an hour. But this road, you can do 55. And this road, you can do 65. But this road, you can do 45. Somebody has taken the time to assess the situation, saying, okay, this is a rural area, a subdivision. It should be nobody should be going more than 30 miles per hour, because at that point, to be able to stop safely in X number of feet, they've gone through all the trouble to figure out that this is the best maximum speed that should be allowed in that particular section of roadway. Okay, I understand, and I'm okay with that in certain circumstances. Okay, stop signs. Well, yes and no. Having stop signs says, hey, this is an intersection. You need to stop here. Make sure it's clear for you to proceed before you go on. Okay, I'm all right with that one. Stoplights, same thing. So they can kind of control traffic because of heavy flow times and, that time of the day whenever there's a lot of traffic. They run traffic signals to try to balance out the traffic so people can get through in a more timely manner. Okay, I understand this, and I'm good with that. But when you get on an interstate and there's no exits for 20 miles, why is the speed limit still the same? Is it, like 60, 65 miles per hour? Because some idiot's going to get out there and run 200 miles per hour and wipe out and kill 30 people on a school bus. People just can be stupid at times because they're not using their brain to know that maybe I shouldn't be going this fast right here, right now. Am I saying they need to be going 200? No, they don't. I've been on the Autobahn in Germany, and I've run 170, 180 miles per hour on the Autobahn. And nice little hot-rodded Porsche. But it was fun. It was nice. The people there tend to have a little bit more common sense when they're on a friggin' Autobahn. When you're in that left lane, that's the hammer lane, boy. You get in that one, you better roll. But if somebody comes up behind you, if you're doing 120 miles per hour, somebody comes rolling up behind you and flashes their bright lights, you need to get your ass out of the way. Because you're impeding the flow of traffic because they're trying to go faster. Now, not every section of the Autobahn is unlimited speed where you can go 1,000,000 miles per hour. There's just portions of it. Would still imagine those are still a thing. I haven't been in Germany in quite some time, but yeah, well, that was a thing. The speed limits were there. There were minimum speed limits. I understand that as well. You don't want somebody out there doing 30 miles an hour when you got people on the left lane trying to go 140, 150. Okay. Moving on from that. people lack the moral consciousness to be able to know for themselves what's right and what's wrong. So therefore, there's got to be so many freaking laws in place to tell you what's right and what's wrong and how to behave and how to act. We're told that, consensual sex is only between, only legal after age 18. Okay? I'm not sure how that arbitrary number came out, but 18 years of age. They figure that you should be mature enough at age 18 to be able to make the correct informed decision of whether or not you're going to engage in that act. Okay, whatever. I know plenty of 18-year-olds that are not mature enough to make that decision. I've known plenty of 40-year-olds that weren't mature enough to make that decision. So, yeah, attaching an arbitrary age to it, just one of those things where we got to wear that fact that we have to have somebody else that's providing adult supervision for us, so to speak. We're not mature enough, even at 40 or 50 years of age, to make our own decisions. We need laws still to tell us what's right and wrong. We got people out there that just think about themselves. They don't care. They're not making the right moral decisions to conduct themselves appropriately at any one given time. Always need to be thinking of what your decision is going to do. How is it going to affect anybody else? If I do this, is it going to bother somebody? Is it going to inconvenience somebody? Is it going to be offensive to somebody? How do you get people to pay attention to what they're doing and not be so self-centered all the damn time? Do we need to make laws to say, well, you can't be an asshole? Anti-asshole policy number 3. Thou shalt not, or whatever. You know what I'm saying is, how do we do it? How do we regulate ourselves and force other people to regulate themselves in a proper manner of how they should act, without trying to pass 400 more friggin' laws that will absolutely just cripple you from doing anything? Well, I really wanted to go watch this movie, but legally I've already seen one movie this week, and according to the Health and Safety Act of 2020, if I watch more than one movie per week, I could get eye strain, and we don't want something or somebody or some government having that much control over us. Sadly, we're going to need to have a bunch of laws to help govern things, but how much is too much and how much is not enough? We got to start getting ourselves in order. And if you want other people to do right, set a good example. As I keep talking about the random acts of kindness, going out and holding the door for somebody, letting somebody, get in front of you in the grocery store that only has one item, or just doing something nice for somebody else. Do it. Extend that olive branch. Do something out of your way that's nice to somebody else. And see if, you may or may not see it, but see how it snowballs. If somebody holds the door for you, you appreciate it. You should appreciate it. You should say thank you. Somebody lets you, if they've got 100 items in their shopping cart and you've got one, they'll let you go ahead. You damn sure better say thank you. And be thankful. So enough on all that. And I'm debating on another particular stream coming up on language. Offensive language. And I may just cover part of it right now, instead of having a separate video based on it. And I'm just afraid, I'm not really afraid, I'm just not 100% convinced that gonna have so many people who will not take the video with a grain of salt and understand what it actually is and what I'm talking about. And offensive. What dictates what's offensive? We've got words that we're told not to say. You know, you can't say shit on TV because that's bad. That's a bad word. Oh, you can't say fuck on TV because, you know, that's a bad word. Okay, well, why is shit a bad word? We'll start with that one. Why is shit a bad word? I have to go take a shit. Fred just took a shit. You smell like shit. You're a piece of shit. It's the context of a word that dictates whether it's good or not. So, of the context of the word, is I have to take a shit. There's nothing wrong with that. You're a piece of shit. Well, maybe you're not really a piece of shit. Maybe I'm a piece of shit, and I'm telling you, you are. And then it becomes hypocritical, but that can be seen as negative. You have to take it in context. The word fuck. Fuck. Okay? It's a taboo word. He said the F word. Oh no. He dropped the F-bomb. What does fuck mean? What does it mean? Again, it's a matter of context. More or less, the word fuck means to engage in sexual intercourse. You're having sex. I like sex. I really do. So, how is that a bad thing? Fuck. When? Where? Now? Okay. Okay. So, how is that wrong? But if I say fuck you, again, it's a matter of context. Am I saying just fuck you is usually what's cast out there as an insult? Fuck you. What do you mean by that? What is the appropriate context for that? Because the word fuck itself is a good word. It's a positive thing. I like it. I like fucking. And what necessarily is fucking is to me, I think of it as vigorous in intercourse. Not just casual or peaceful or romantic or whatever. We're talking about, you know, the good pig sex, you know, where you're really just rutting in there and both of you are just hot and heavy and steamy and all that kind of stuff. Vigorous. So, to me, the word fuck means vigorous intercourse. And I'm okay with that. So, if I say to you, fuck you, I'm not using anything. There's no preface to that. There's no I am going to, or there is no I would like to, or would you like to. It's just fuck you. So to me, that is implying vigorous intercourse to you. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't see that as being bad either. You're telling somebody you want them to have vigorous intercourse. Okay. Again, when and where. You know? So, what's wrong with that? So, the word itself is just taken out of context and used so incorrectly all the time. I just don't get it. Go fuck yourself. Okay. That's said as a negative thing. Hey, go fuck yourself. I'm a freak, so, you know, if I could fuck myself, I probably would. You know, I'm just saying, you know, you're basically at that point, you're telling somebody to go have vigorous intercourse with himself. And again, quite a few people whether they would admit it in public or not. If they physically could, they would. So, yeah. And again, having vigorous intercourse is a good thing. Of course, as long as it's consensual. Unless you're just saying to that person that I'm going to rape you. And that's just no bueno. Then that makes you look like the idiot. Other bad words. Things you can't say on TV. Or, you know, the horrible words. Pussy. Call somebody a pussy. Okay, are you referring to a pussy cat? Because cats are fluffy and cuddly and nice. Not all of them, but, you know, I'm just saying. So what's wrong with that? I'm not a cat person, but I'm just saying, what's wrong with a nice fluffy kitty? So maybe you don't mean it that way. Maybe you mean it as the female genitalia. The vagina is often referred to as the pussy. So you're calling somebody a pussy. I really like vagina. I really do. It's awesome. It's a wondrous thing, too. It's amazing. It can bring babies into the world and much joy to people's faces. So, again, if you call somebody a pussy, how is that necessarily a bad thing? Because, you know, I even in context, you're still saying you're a warm, fuzzy feline, or you're telling them that you're a delightful portion of the female anatomy. I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, I could also mention the N-word. Oh God, he's not going to do that, is he? Why not? What is it? What does it mean? Why is it such an offensive word? Because by the true definition, not by what it's turned into, but by the true definition, that word means a stupid and or ignorant person. And for many, many millennia, that's how it was defined in a dictionary. But now it has become, well, not just now, but, you know, it's often been referred to as categorizing a race of the human species based on their skin color. How the hell do you get that? I mean, who was the first person to call somebody a nigger? I mean, seriously. Who was... And if you think about it, the first person to associate that word with a specific skin color, did they not realize that they're actually using that word hypocritically? And if you call someone whose skin is, you know, dark, because a black person is not black. I mean, they're not black. Black is a really dark color, and they're not black. They're brown. You know, their skin color is brown, or tan, or whatever. You know, you're categorizing somebody by a color to begin with, which is stupid. But if you call somebody a nigger, you're telling them that they are a stupid and or ignorant person. But if you're calling somebody that because of their skin's a different color, then that makes you the stupid and ignorant person. So, it got started in the wrong context 100 plus years ago by people who were actually themselves the one that were the definition of what the hell the word truly means. So, am I saying that I think it's a horrible and offensive word? Yes, it's an offensive word. If you call somebody a nigger, you're calling them a stupid and ignorant person. And if it is not the truth, then you're being belligerent. You're being judgmental. You're being that stupid or ignorant person. If you're calling somebody a nigger because of their skin color, you are definitely the one that's stupid and or ignorant. You are the one that's living up to the definition of the word you're casting out. So quit being an idiot and using it in the wrong context. And people get so bent out of shape. Oh my God, he said nigger. Oh my God, he said that word. Quit being so ignorant yourself and thinking that it's, just the word, and just hearing the word is, you might as well be saying that I like stomping puppies or whatever. You might as well have just said that, the most horrible imaginable thing possible. And it's just a damn word. It's a misused word that is being used out of context in a slang method. And I don't know for the life of me why dictionaries have changed to accept the slang of a word. That itself is stupid too. It is a slang definition. It is not the actual definition of the word. That just is plain ignorance. Plain ignorance. Prejudice. If you talk about somebody being prejudiced, it doesn't necessarily have to be color. You got people who can be prejudiced against gender, or I'm prejudiced against you because you are a Christian, or you're a Muslim, or whatever. You're being prejudiced. You're disliking somebody because of a portion of their life, or for some reason or another. Hating somebody because of their skin color is retarded. If you're going to hate somebody, hate them because they're stupid. Hate them because they are doing something. I'm not saying don't hate people. I'm saying don't hate people for the wrong damn reasons. Don't hate somebody for their skin color. Don't hate somebody for their religion. Don't hate somebody for their beliefs. Don't hate somebody because of their gender. Don't hate somebody because of their gender choice. Don't hate somebody for the wrong reasons. If you're going to hate somebody, better have a good reason. I hate you because you are mean and you hurt people, or you're ignorant and you're oblivious to everybody else around you. You're offensive. You're whatever. Hate somebody for the right reasons. Plenty of you probably think I'm offensive now because I dropped the N-word. Oh, God. And you're going to report me to the powers that be, and, you're just going to get total uproar about it. And yet, by doing so, you are the very definition of that word, and you are the problem, not me. That's showing a level of ignorance and intolerance towards what happened to freedom of speech. United States of America, last time I checked, we have what's supposed to be the freedom of speech, but when did we decide to give that up? So, don't go around hating people. Don't go around being negative. Don't go around being oblivious to other people around you. Think about how your actions are going to affect other people. And yes, I understand that some of the things that I say in this video are going to offend some people, but, if you have a problem with something that I said, then you have a problem, not me. Because the things that I've said are common sense. They're logically correct. They're just deemed immoral in your eyes, so therefore I'm wrong because it doesn't match what you think is being correct. So you're judging me and casting stones on me for your personal beliefs against my personal beliefs. I see I see this all the time. What is my religion? I don't really have a religion. I'm not against it. Again, you can have whatever beliefs you want and follow any religion that you want. I think calling somebody's religion a belief, technically speaking, yes, you believe in something, therefore it is true. Okay, I'm not saying that in a negative way. And that's a kind of a misused word in that and in describing that. Your personal religion is entirely up to you. It is not my place to judge you based on your religion. I mean, the one that I see that gets overly looked at in the wrong light is Muslims. Okay, I personally know two that have told me that they are Muslim. And whenever the first person that was a friend who I would confided in and I dealt with as a friend, he told me that, the first time first couple times we were hanging out, we were in a school together, not in like high school or anything. This is a professional school, and I was like, dude, come on, let's go get something to eat, because hell, I don't want to go sit down in a restaurant and eat by myself. It's boring. I don't want to eat by myself. So I like this guy. He's a nice guy. We get along. We're on the same team and everything else. So I'm like, dude, come on, let's go get something to eat. And it's, oh, well, you probably don't want to be seen with me. I'm like, why? It's because I'm Muslim. So? What does that got to do with anything? Well, people hate Muslims. Why? I don't hate Muslims. Why should I hate a Muslim? No Muslim has ever done anything wrong to me because they were Muslim. And say, okay, I've never had any problems out of anybody that's Muslim. So why would I have any negative feelings towards somebody because that's their religion? They're Muslim. Somebody else that I talk to on a regular basis, he's told me that he's Muslim. It is not that I don't care that you're Muslim. It's just that it does not affect me in any way, shape, or form, except for one way. It does affect me in one way. If you tell me that you're Muslim, then I'm going to let you know right off the bat, I don't know all of your customs. So if I do anything or say anything that offends you, let me know so I won't do it again. Because you are a friend, so therefore I don't want to offend a friend. I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't want to be the offensive person. I don't want to say, hey, let's go get some barbecue pork. Oh, Muslims don't eat pork, or or whatever. I don't want to be that guy. So I don't want to seem like I'm ignorant, and definitely don't want to seem like I'm ignorant and intolerant to them for their religious beliefs. So that's the only way that it affects me, is that I don't want to do anything that affects them wrong. Whenever I went to Germany and I spent time in Berlin, I freaking love Berlin. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. I love Berlin. Before I went, I tried to learn some German words. I tried to learn the language. I didn't do very good, but I tried. I really tried to learn some German, because whenever I went there, I didn't want to be that offensive American. Hey, where's the toilet? Hey, give me a beer. I didn't want to be that offensive prick that, I don't care if it's your country, I'm talking to you in English, you talk back to me in English. Why the hell would I be that prick, okay? I wanted to know how I could ask you the appropriate questions in your language. I am a guest in your country. I should be trying to speak your language. I should be trying to fall within your customs so that I don't do anything that is offensive to you. I wouldn't go to Berlin and start screaming, Nazis suck. That's always going to be a sore subject for German people. Because what's the first thing that most people, ignorant ass Americans, think when you say German? Nazi. That's the first thing that comes to most people's mind. World War II, Nazis, killing Jews, and terrible, horrible Holocaust. And Germany's a damn nice country. Beautiful country. Some of the best times in my life were in Berlin, and with the people there in Berlin. I still talk to people that I knew from there and love them. They're like family to me. Do anything in the world for them. Love them, love them, love them. And the people were amazing. Now, there was always going to be assholes no matter where you go. Quick example. I'm going to get ready to cut this. We're at the 1 hour mark. Example. I was in Berlin, and I've always been kind of a nerd. I know it's a shock to some people, but I like models, and not anymore so much, but I knew of a model shop that did HO scale train stuff. I didn't really want to set up a train diorama, but they had military vehicles, and what me and a friend did was we made this piece of plywood, and we put together a board that had the exact vehicles that we had in our motor pool. The same exact number, everything, deuce and a halves, Humvees, 113s, 901s, Hemmets, whatever vehicles were in our motor pool. We had those in HO scale on a board, and we collected those. And every time we go in, like for deuce and halves, there was 3 battalions. Well, there's more than that. All I really cared about was 4th, 5th, and 6th Battalion, the 502nd Infantry Division. So the only one that I cared about, I was 6502, So I started off with Headquarters Company, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and CSC, and Scout, and all the different companies and platoons and so forth within the 6th Battalion. So I started with my company, my platoon, and all the way down. And every time we'd go to this store, we'd buy them out of their friggin' deuce and halves. We had a bunch of deuce and halves in our company. And yes, the old M35A2s, deuce and halves. And some 5 tons and shit too, but so every time I'd go to this particular store, I'd always buy them out. So I'd have to keep going back and checking in on the store. I went in there one day, and they had like 5 or 6 of them, so I bought them out of deuce and halves again, and got a couple Humvees and other stuff, and was just shopping and hanging out and just seeing what else I could throw away my paychecks on and enjoying it. At the time, I was driving a 1975 Volkswagen Bug. Meine kleine Käfer. Only one person in the world will understand that statement. They might know what I said, but they won't understand the statement. But yeah, meine kleine Käfer. My little bug. White sunroof, souped up motor, stretch fenders. Yeah, it was a cool car. I loved it. I went back out to go get in my car. I know where I park. I could go to the mall, park in a huge-ass mall parking lot, and remember what door I came in and exactly where I parked my car. I remember where I parked my car. Unlike my ex-wife or, other people that I know of, they could park their car, walk into the store, walk right back out again, and not remember where they parked. But I know where I park. I go back out to get into my car, and my car is gone. And I am freaking out, pissed off that my little bug is gone. And I just happened to see a German police officer, a Polizei. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I see this Polizei officer, and I'm freaking out, like, wo ist mein Auto? Where's my car? He starts laughing. I'm like, well, damn it ain't funny. And I'm like, where's my car? He's like, oh, American. I'm like, yeah. I parked my car right here. I was legally parked. Look, I still have time on the meter. He's like, no, don't worry. As it turns out, there was an anti-American demonstration that day. And they were about a block away from where that store was. And if they looked down that street and saw a car with an American license plate with a big USA thing on the windshield or back window, they would have probably flipped that little bug and destroyed it. So to keep my car safe, this German police officer and the German police department, out of the goodness of their heart, love you guys, they called it a tow truck. They came in and they had a crane on it, and they physically picked up my car, set it on the back of a flatbed tow truck, and moved it a couple blocks away to keep it safe. But I was freaking out. But they did that, because they're good people. The majority of the German people were good people, but they still get a bad rap. When did World War II end? How many years ago was that? But people still, when they hear the word German, some people are still ignorant enough to think of World War II and Hitler and Nazis and all that bullshit, and it's stupid. Germany has come a long friggin' way since then. Quit being so narrow-minded and treat people how they are now, not for what they did. And that's one of the biggest things, and I think why a lot of people get so hung up. And here's the thing. The majority of the people who raise the biggest stink about racism are usually quite racist. White people did this to me. No, white people didn't do that to you. Somebody did something to your ancestors, but, unless somebody physically did something to you, then that's fine. Well, not fine, but I'm saying is you don't categorize an entire race of the species because of something that happened 100 years ago. Quit being ignorant. White people enslaved our people. God damn. White people enslaved white people. I got Irish in my ancestry and Scottish in my ancestry. Hell, look how the Irish were treated. That's white on white. People don't give a shit about your damn skin color. If you think they do, then you're being racist. If they do, then they're being racist, If someone's racist, hate that person for being racist. Not an entire race, but hate someone because of their actions, not because of their skin color. And don't categorize everybody based on something that happened 100 years ago. I didn't have any slaves. I'm white man, okay? But I didn't do it. I wasn't around. I'm not that damn old. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not that freaking old. I didn't do it. Quit blaming me. Quit being racist and blaming somebody else's behavior based on their skin color. Just saying. If you want to hate me for being an asshole, then you go right ahead and hate me for things that I'm doing, and for whatever reason you don't like me, as long as it's based on what I've done to you. But don't hate me. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Don't hate me because of my skin color. Don't hate me because of a word I say. I'm not intentionally trying to be an offensive person. I'm just trying to get people to quit being ignorant, to quit being spiteful, to quit being hateful, to quit being self-centered. Start thinking about how your actions affect the other people around you, and try to be a better person in general. This world is fucked up as a soup sandwich right now. And it's not one person's fault. It's not Trump's fault this country's fucked up. Trump didn't fuck up this country. It's all us motherfuckers that either A, are doing the things that are terrible, or B, not doing anything to stop it from being terrible. If you're going to hate Trump, hate him for whatever other reason, but only if that directly affects you. What has he said? Okay, let's build a wall. Oh, that's a subject for another video. But, okay, whatever. Make America great again. What the hell's wrong with that comment? What is so terrible about trying to make this country good again? Or great again? So, what's wrong with that? This country's fucked up. It's primarily fucked up because of the politicians and the corruption. Corruption's everywhere. It's not just in politics. It's in the workplace. I got fired from a job once for doing too good a job. You think that's bullshit? It happened. At the time, I was working private security. And that's another one it's looked down on. Oh, he's a security guard, mall cop, rent a cop, whatever, fuck you. It's a necessary job and somebody's got to do it. So, quit being an intolerant prick and listen to the damn story. So yeah, working at a government complex, and this is way before Y2K. Actually, not way before Y2K. Way before 9/11. But my job was to, whenever I clocked in, I worked from, it was like midnight until 7 o'clock in the morning. There was somebody else who worked from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until midnight. I relieved them, and then whenever I left at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'd already opened up the entire facility for everybody to go to work, and everything is good to go, secure my facility, and off I go. So, but whenever I come to work, everything should be locked down and secured, and all the doors should be locked, all of the gates locked, and required to every other hour, you have to go do a patrol and walk around the building. And this was in the time of the key boxes. You got this box, and you walk over to a location, you turn a key, and it makes a little mark on a little paper disc, so that somebody can review that disc later and see that, okay, at 1 a.m. they made this mark, and then at 1:05 they were at this station. And then you might have 10, 12, 15 keys you got to turn on your patrol. So you develop a route to cover all of your points of interest, and you have to punch that key every other hour. Every 2 hours you got to get up and do a patrol. Not a hard job. I mean, come on, seriously. I would come in at midnight. Everything should be secure. I get out, I grab my little box, and I would go do my rounds, and I'd punch all my keys, and I would find doors unlocked, gates unlocked, things of that nature. And I would have to go around, and I'd find 3, 4, 5 things. Almost every shift, I come in there and find multiple things that I needed to secure, and I'm going to log it in my incident reports, my daily log report. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. Well, the client got our incident reports, or our daily reports, and they got that little clock box, or the key box, and they could check that box every morning to ensure that all the patrols were done from 4 p.m. all the way through 7 a.m. And without doubt, without fail, every time I'm on duty, all my rounds were done. But I kept finding all these different things left unsecure, so I'd log them down. So they complained to my employer, and they were told that you need to find out why your 4 to 12 officer is not doing their job. And the guy that was on the 4 to 12 shift was quite often, and people on shift on the days that I wasn't there, I didn't work 7 days a week, I worked 5 days a week. It was a laughing matter, because when I worked with EMS, we would have to go there and get fuel. Same thing with the fire department and the police department. They all got their fuel from this facility. More often than not, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, you pull in there, and you got to wait for security to open the gate so you can get in and go get your fuel, and then they got to let you back out again. More often than not, you pull up there, little son of a bitch is in there asleep. Well, you're not supposed to sleep on a damn job, for one. If you're doing security, you're trying to secure a facility, what the hell are you doing asleep? You can't do your job if you're asleep. But without fail, whenever I'm on duty, I'm never asleep. I'm always doing my job, making my rounds, punching my key clock, and everything else. So after this continued on for about a month, after me getting a sign out there of me always doing my job correctly and always being awake and alert and everything else, hell, I brought a coffee maker out there and shit too to make sure I wasn't falling asleep. They finally got tired of the other guy, and it's like, okay, we want me to be on the 4 to 12 shift. So they took me off the midnight to 7 shift and put me on the 4 to 12 shift. Alright, whatever. And I did my job. Their facility got secured. Nobody ever found any unlocked doors whenever they came in at midnight. But still, they were having problems with EMS or police department or fire department trying to come in and get gas. And they can't get in because security's right there asleep. Or they're in their car asleep. They're in the guard shack asleep. Whatever. And for about 2 weeks straight, I had to go out there and work from 4 p.m. to 7 a.m. for almost 2 weeks straight. And they insisted that those guards that they caught sleeping on the job were terminated. They were fired. Okay, I agree with that. You're sleeping on the job. You're not doing your job. You're not making your rounds. You're not securing the facility. You deserve to be unemployed. Instead, the employer itself, the company that I worked for, deemed that I was making their other officers look bad. I say, what now? I'm making the rest of your staff look bad because I'm doing my job. I'm making them look bad because they're not doing their job, but I am the one that's causing the problem by making them look bad. That makes sense. You fucking idiots. So they fired me on the spot because I was making their other officers look bad, and I was bad for the morale of the company. So they dismissed me. They fired me for doing my job too well. What kind of bullshit is that? And guess what? I live in South Carolina. What's that got to do with the price of rice in China? In South Carolina, it's a right-to-work state. An employer can fire you because they don't like the color of your hair today. That's an exaggeration, but they don't need an employer does not need a reason to fire you. They can fire you because it's Tuesday and I feel like firing somebody. You're it. Bye. It's a right to work state. Total bullshit. But whatever. Problem being was that company had been losing customers because their officers that they were putting out on these sites were shit, and they were falling asleep on duty and not doing their rounds and that same basic kind of crap. So instead of hiring more people like me who's going to do the job and do it right and make happy clients and customers, no, just fire him and we'll just keep the shit because we're consistently shit. They've been losing so many customers that they were a little bit tardy with their rent on the building. Well, what does that have to do with anything? At the time, my mother worked for the company and she was main secretary for the company that owns that building that the security company is leasing their office space from. Yeah, he owns the damn place. So, and it's just right around the corner from the office of this damn security company. So naturally, I'm going to go see mommy because I'm near, because I love my mommy, because she's awesome. I go over there and I'm telling her what happened. I'm like, I got fired. Why? What did you do? I'm like, apparently I was doing my job so well that I made everybody else look bad. So instead of them hiring more people like me, they fired me instead. And her boss overheard that, and he's a nice guy too. Real liked him. He's a nice guy. He overheard what I was saying. He came in here like, whoa, what? And I had run through the whole story again. He's like, that's bullshit. He looked at my mother and said, here, I want you to type up something for me. Yeah, back then, people still used the term type things up because there were still typewriters. Yeah, he wrote up an eviction notice. He's like, yeah, them bastards are late on their rent again, so here, why don't you go ahead and let's write up an eviction notice. And here, I want you to deliver it. He hands me the notice of eviction for the bastard that just fired me. And I walked back over there, walked inside the building, and I know, of course, who the owner is and the boss is and everything else around there. Had this little weird female secretary right there, right outside his office door, like, typical secretary door. I walked in, and one of the guys in there was like, did you forget something? I'm like, oh no, I got something for Bill or whatever his name was. I'm like, well, he's busy right now. He's not too busy for this. I walked right past them all. They're big bad, security guys. What are you going to do? You going to stop me? I don't think so. Walked right by them, walked by the secretary, walked right into his office, and he's on the phone, and I handed him this piece of paper. He's like, what is this? I'm like, it's a notice of eviction. Pack your shit and get out. Well, that's bullshit. I'm like, read it. It was signed 3 minutes ago. And sure enough, he evicted a dog shit out of those bastards for firing me for doing my job too well. Alright. Enough old people damn stories. I'm sure I've offended enough people. You guys watching these videos after the stream, seriously, if you've got an idea for a topic, or if you want to join in on the discussion, let me know. You can come by my Discord channel. The Discord channel is in the description. If you don't know what Discord is, it's usually for gaming, because it's typically a gaming channel. But my Discord channel Discord is a text chat system. There's also voice chat, and there's also the ability to, use your camera and face-to-face talk, or I can share my screen, show you what I'm working on, or you can show me what you're working on. So it comes in quite handy for me for game development stuff and for gaming stuff. So that's why I use Discord. So if you want to come by my Discord channel, and again, I have a no troll policy and a no grief policy. If you come and being a dick, I'm going to kick you the hell out. Plain and simple. But if you want to come to my Discord channel, follow the server rules, and look at the General Mayhem channel. If enough interest comes up from these videos, then I'll create a channel dedicated for people to talk about stuff related to this series, the UBU channel, and suggest conversations, or check to find out the next time I'm going to stream, and you can join in on the discussions. I'm not going to have lengthy discussions inside Discord about the topics of the videos. I want those conversations in the video. If you're not willing to discuss them while the video is live, then I'm not really willing to discuss it. It sounds kind of shitty, but you know what? I'm trying to grow a channel here, and besides what I think I want to do my streams on, plus my game stuff, game development stuff, things of that nature, then it's my life. This is me. You be you, and I'll be me. How about that? So I won't be able to engage in conversation during these streams and get intelligent thoughts on the topics being discussed. Alright, we'll see you in the next video. As of right now, I'm going to try to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is normally going to be my Unreal Engine 4 game development stuff. Wednesdays is kind of a toss-up. We'll sometimes also be playing a video game of some sort. It's whatever Wednesdays. Usually it's like Motion Mondays for motion-related stuff for game development. Fridays is Feature Friday, where discuss making certain features from games and then making them work in Unreal Engine 4. Tuesdays and Thursdays will be my topical 2 days, where I will talk about topics that are controversial, whether it's, sex or racism or whatever, but no politics. Just morality stuff and general stuff like that. The time that I start normally will be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I usually don't stream on Saturdays. I will sometimes as needed by request. Sundays, I try to take Sundays as my day, but I still sometimes do the Sunday sermon with Beefalo. And that's just drinking a cup of coffee and talking about anything but religion. So, come back and join me. I'll make another video that's brief and to the point about stream schedules and things like that. Alrighty, guys and gals, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.